Modern Day Holy War, a new song by Lady Nogrady. We've got Nicole, a.k.a. Lady Nogrady, in studio today. We're going to be talking to her about her new hit song. Before we do that, just want to remind you, get over to ourwatch.com, subscribe. We want to have you as one of our watchmen, always trying to get good, true information into your lives, and that is one of the best ways you can do that. As you know, social media is always trying to shut us out here at Our Watch down, trying to get us to silence our voice, and we're not going to allow that to happen. Again, ourwatch.com, subscribe, be one of our watchmen. Also, if you would like this video, share it with your friends, your family, your neighbors. We really, really appreciate that. That being said, we've got Nicole, a.k.a. Lady Nogrady, here in studio today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Your studio is pretty amazing looking.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, we have a lot of fun in here, and it's always nice to have guests like you. This new song, it kind of took everything by storm, didn't it?
It did. It's been a whirlwind. I think of everything I've done in the last 4 weeks, including Christmas and New Year's in there. So really, I guess more like 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. So you wrote this song a little while ago, right?
I did. I wrote the song almost 5 years ago. So it did not, a lot of times people think that things happen overnight, but of course they don't. And yeah, it was a while ago. So
well, you wrote it, 5 years ago, and you look at what's happening in our culture today, and the lyrics of this song are so apropos to what's happening in our culture today. A lot has happened in 5 years, and it almost seems like the song was kind of prophetic in nature, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I remember the moment that it hit me, and I was at home. I had a cold, and I was watching TV, actually not TV, I don't have cable, but I was watching video of Notre Dame burning, and I was just kind of like in shock over it. And I had been there the summer before with my family, and so it felt kind of personal, watching it burn. And this voice said to me, this is the trigger event to the modern day holy war. And I had been a musician years before, but I really did not want to succumb to, selling my soul. And so I quit the music industry, and I hadn't written a song in years, but when those words hit me, it just felt like prophetic. And I was scrambling to grab a piece of paper so I wouldn't forget it. And I wrote down in big letters across a piece of paper, modern day holy war, and put it on my coffee table. And I felt that spark of inspiration that I just hadn't felt in years, and started writing the song. And I've been Christian / Catholic for my whole life. Christian, rebaptized now this year, but I've always had a strong connection. But living in Hollywood, it's easy for that connection to get muted or diminished. And so the fact I was sitting there writing a song, and these lyrics about Jesus were popping into my head, I took a moment and I was like, okay, this isn't me. This is not me. This is God coming through me right now, and I'm just going to open myself up and be the channel and be the messenger. So, and that's what happened.
So you wrote it 5 years ago, but you just released it here recently. Why the time lapse?
God's divine timing.
Yeah.
I had gone into a recording studio 3 years ago, and I recorded it, and I was paying for it myself, and which can be expensive. And the version I recorded was great, and I really liked it. But as a picky artist, or a picky creative, we were looking for that, not really perfection, but for it to be as good as we want it to be. And I just kept saying, it's not ready. It's not ready. And I got to a point, and also this vision I had was, when I was writing the song, I was writing it with the music video in mind already. And I was like, okay, I want to take clips of all these bad things that have happened and put them in like a montage, and just kind of almost bombard the viewer so they have no other choice but to recognize that, yes, this is in fact the modern day holy war that we are in. And I just felt like things hadn't quite gotten bad enough. I was like, I need better footage, No, I just felt like I kind of knew that things were going to keep going down that path. And so I just kind of waited. And I was also waiting for a moment where I knew God was telling me, it's time. It's time to release it. And I sat on it for a long time. And then I was working as a photographer, actually, with War Room with Steve Bannon. And we were in the car one night going to a Carrie Lake rally or coming home from a Carrie Lake rally. And I'm in the front seat and they're messing around with the radio. And I just said, hey, Steve, do you want to hear this song I wrote? He's like, sure, put it on. So I put it on and he's like, this is you? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, who wrote this? I'm like, I did. And he's like, no way. He's like, this is good. And so it was already on his radar at that time, but that was also a year ago. And, last year was a busy year, and it wasn't until the war between, Palestine and Israel broke out. Steve called me and he's like, okay. He's like, where's that song? We got to get this song out now. So Steve was amazing and helped me go back into the studio and finalize that recording. And then I compiled as much footage as I could with a friend of mine of all the visuals, and we put a preliminary video together. And then Steve got his video guy. His name is Max Evans. He's amazing. Got him to sort of rework it and turn it into the video that you see now.
Yeah, well, look at the current status of our world right now. There's no doubt we're in a holy war. This is not left versus right. This is good versus evil. This is darkness versus light. We know, for those of us that know the scriptures, we know that if you're already in Christ, you're already victorious. We're on the side that wins, and that's a good thing to be, is on the side of righteousness. But truly, things are going to get worse before they get better, and they will get better. And I saw in your video, I saw the montage of the bad things that are happening, but I also saw hope in it. Talk to us about that, if you would.
I wanted to show people that yeah, out of the darkness comes the light, and in order to reveal the dark, you shine the light on it. And so I've noticed that no matter how bad things have gotten, I have seen people who I never in a million years would have ever thought would come to God in Christ doing just that. And I've been really surprised that I see people posting on social media, Bible verses and people who I never thought would ever. And that just to me goes to show that the needle is moving. And I think there is actually more light right now than dark. It's just that all the darkness is coming to the surface. And so like my music video, where it's kind of like we're being bombarded with it right now. But I wanted there to be that contrast through the video. I made sure I put my church in there. My pastor is in there. And actually I put a clip of an event that we had called Baptize SoCal in there about, I don't know if it was closer to 4,000 or 6,000, but somewhere in between there, that many people were baptized in one day down in Pirates Cove in Newport Beach. And I was one of those people last May. And so it was really important for me to put that resolve in there in the video. And I hope we did an okay job kind of balancing both, because a few people have commented that they, there's satanic imagery in there, but it's everywhere right now. And I when you compile it all together like that, it's kind of like very in your face. And a couple people were like, oh, I would have liked the video without all the Satan stuff in there. And I'm like, well, that was kind of the whole point. So, but hopefully there's a decent balance in there for people.
I thought you struck a good balance in it. As I was watching it, it painted a picture. We're in a holy war, and I think nothing could be further from the truth. We're in a holy war. People have to know that.
Yeah.
The people, they're saying, oh, I don't want to know. I want to stick my head, like the proverbial ostrich with their head in the sand. If I don't see it, then it's not happening. Well, you have to see it.
Yeah.
You have to have your eyes open to this. And right now, Satan is so busy showing his hand. He really is. He's not concealing this anymore. He is out in the open. The war is real, and we can't fight this war if we don't see it for what it is. So you're showing it for what it is, but you also show the hope, and I think that is a really good thing. You brought this song out, and now all of a sudden you're performing it kind of all over the place. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's been the craziest month maybe of my life. But yeah, I all of a sudden from one night to the next, it's like, okay, you have this interview and this interview. And, I just sang at the Reawaken tour, and that I booked that 2 days beforehand. And okay, I'm, in a rental car driving up to Tulare, California, and, there with General Flynn and Clay Clark. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. I mean, I've been in the political movement for so long anyways, that it's not that odd for me to be in those places, but to be on the stage, usually I'm the photographer behind the scenes. So I'm kind of used to like trying to hide in the shadows and scurry through without being noticed. And now it's like, all right, here's the microphone. Now get out there and sing. So, but this is just such an amazing blessing in my life, because my passions have been political activism and really just human activism, and then also the arts and singing. And I mean, I didn't like Hollywood per se, but I liked being a creative. I liked being a writer and singing and getting on stage and performing. So I just feel super excited and blessed that I kind of get to take all of my favorite things now and put them all together. Yeah. So I'm supposed to be performing on the I am performing on the 27th at an event called it's for a group called the Innocence Rescue Mission, IRM, and they're actually a breakaway group from OUR. So OUR did Sound of Freedom, and we're doing a big walk here in Southern California to bring awareness, and I'm going to be singing there. So
awesome. Well, what do you hope this song does in the hearts and the minds of the people that hear it?
I mean, I hope that it wakes people up. I hope that there's those people who maybe are kind of teetering on that edge. They're just about to have their moment of awakening. They know something's wrong. They've been feeling it. God's been tapping them on the shoulder, but maybe they just haven't turned around yet. Hopefully this song makes them stop in their tracks and turn around, which actually that reminds me, I did get a message from someone that said that they were doing something and the song came on and they literally stopped and turned around and went and watched the video, and they were brought to tears by it. So it's those messages that I receive that make me really realize the impact that not that just this song or video could have, but that music has in general. And music is really powerful. It's a frequency, it's a vibration. And so I hope that the song and future songs that I put my hand on, I want to continue being a channel for God and the divine, and that hopefully we can take back the film, television, music industry, because those three have been Satan's biggest weapon that have basically led us to where we are today, in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate what you're doing. How can people follow you? How can people find out where you're going to be performing and stuff like that?
My website, I need to make some updates to it. All of this has happened very quickly, but my website is ladynogrady.com. So you can go ahead and head there. You can also purchase the song directly off of my website, which helps me out because iTunes takes about 70% from the artists for every download. So you can download the song there. You can also find me on Instagram at Real Nicole Nogrady. And you can find all of my social media links on my website as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate what God is doing in you and through you. And I look forward to the future and see what God's going to do.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. Again, like this video, share it out with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Head on over to ourwatch.com, subscribe and become one of our watchmen. Always trying to make sure we get true, good information into your lives so we can be effective citizens as we await the return of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. So until next time, God bless you. We'll see you right here on Our Watch with Tim Thompson.